Welcome to part 47 of the Basic Training Booster Pass Edition. Today we're going to cover everything you need to know to play Bowser's Castle 3 on 150cc. The recommended build for this track is going to be Daisy, Bitty Buggy, Rollers, and Paper Glider. When the run begins, we're going to build up a Super Mini Turbo around the first left turn, and then we're going to do 2 right hops into a left drift to Mini Turbo trick off the anti-grav ramp. We're going to land in a right drift to fix our alignment a little bit before doing a left alignment drift and tricking off the second ramp. Now, we're only 6 seconds into the run, but we've already got a lot of stuff to talk about. Everything we just covered requires excellent soft drifting if that wasn't obvious, but that mini turbo trick in particular practically requires that we use Bitty Buggy instead of Teddy Buggy. However, if these strats are too difficult, then just ignore that double hop mini turbo trick and instead just do a normal trick, though note that you still do want to do the left drift before that second trick. Moving on, we're going to build a Super Mini Turbo around this next left turn and then immediately set up for another mini turbo trick off the ramp. It's not obvious from just watching the run, but when we land, we're going to again land in a left drift before tricking, since that will give us both a lower trick and fix our alignment for the second ramp. As always, 2 Super Mini Turbos is faster than a single Ultra Mini Turbo, so that's what we're going to do around this next left turn. And then we're going to start a right drift. A little bit before getting to the off-road, we're going to use a mushroom, and then when we build up an Ultra Mini Turbo, we're going to use its momentum to jump over a bit of the lava. I don't have much in the way of a precise setup for this, but it's honestly not that hard to figure out with just a little bit of practice. The rest of the lap is pretty straightforward, but one point of note about the ending ramp. Well, technically 2 points. The first is that there are these thwomps that pound the ground at opposite times, and you want to make sure that you're moving towards whichever one is going to be on the ground by the time you go off the ramp. And that's because it's going to allow you to trick off of it. Unfortunately, this is just going to depend on your pace, and you're going to have to figure that out on your own for each lap. Now, in order to ensure that you actually get the trick, you need to trick off the previous ramp as early as possible, and the best way to do that is to shake your controller to trick off the ramp. Lap 2 is pretty much the same as lap 1, but there is one potential hang-up that may or may not give you issues, once again depending on the type of pace you're on. On the long straightaway with the 3 ramps, we're going to do exactly what we did before, but chances are that you're going to have to deal with a lava spout shooting right in front of your face. As long as you hang out to the right hand side of the platform though, you can pretty easily avoid this as its hitbox is very forgiving. Moving on to the world record, it's pretty similar to my own run for the most part, but there is one major difference in strategy that comes into play on laps 2 and 3. Rather than trick off the second ramp at the start of the run like we did, they do a Kassan slide off the second ramp, build up a Super Mini Turbo, and then ride on the track border like Tony Hawk. I'm sure this is a lot easier than it looks with the right setup, but I was both unwilling and unable to figure it out, especially because I was able to put up what I thought was a pretty decent time without it. So that's it for the strats. Let's talk about the track a bit more while checking out my current personal best. And as always, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to click the like button and drop a nice comment before you go, since this is by far the best way to help the video get spread to more people. Now, Bowser's Castle 3. You know, as far as remastered courses go, this has to be hands down the best one in the series, at least as far as the SNES tracks are concerned. I got a lot of shit from people in my Why I'm Not Hyped for Wave 4 video when I said that Boo Lake was basically a shot-for-shot remake of its GBA counterpart, but after playing Bowser's Castle 3, if anything, I'm doubling down on that take. Just look at this masterpiece. It's like a complete reimagining of the track, with new obstacles, new split paths and shortcuts, and a f***ing banger of a soundtrack. Like, I just can't even fathom how they could have made this any better. And it's not just that creativity went into its remaster, but it's also that everything they did made the track a lot more fun to play. It's got everything. Tight timing on the drifts that requires real mastery of soft drifting, decently complex setups for the mini turbo tricks, a cool little shortcut over the lava, shake tricking. Really the only thing it's missing is a glider ramp. I honestly don't have a lot more to say about the track though. It's just a really tightly designed track that's a lot of fun to play both online and in time trials. And despite my initial impressions of it still being an SNES course at the end of the day, I honestly think this might be my favorite track in the wave, and maybe even one of my favorites in the whole booster course pass. And if that's not high praise, I don't know what else is. And that's everything you need to know to play Bowser's Castle 3 on 150cc. We've only got one more video in the series after this, but still, make sure to subscribe before you go, because I've got a lot of awesome content planned for you all this year. Thank you all very much for taking the time out of your day to do some basic training, and as always, I will see you in the next video.